Greetings, family. We are live. Yes, it means it's Ujama Day. It means it's Wednesday. It's time for another fantastic, blacktastic Sister Shanice show and guest. Welcome, welcome. Absolutely delighted to have you on board. And we have our wonderful guest backstage who's going to be coming on any minute now. So welcome. Les, I can see on YouTube that we are indeed live. Absolutely great. And yeah, looking forward to the family coming through the door. Well, family, some of you may have heard that there was an earthquake in Jamaica, 5.4 magnitude on the Richter scale. Fortunately, there were no reports of any casualties, no reports of any no fatalities. So we are extremely grateful about that. But, you know, on my radio show earlier this morning, I played a tune. Oh, my gosh. The musicians of Jamaica are just so talented. Imagine one big tune drop already about the earthquake in Jamaica. And oh my days. I don't have permission to play it here, so I'm unable to play it. But I definitely will be playing it again on my show on the Big G Galaxy Alpha next Wednesday. It's 9 a.m. UK time. So if you want to hear that track, make sure that you tune in. So yes, the artist was talking about the fact that there was an earthquake in Jamaica, and dropped enough lyrics in there about what was happening, how our people responded to the earthquake as well. But fortunately, as I said, no reports of any major injuries. I have seen from some of the social media videos that are out and about it that you know, a number of houses have actually been affected. And you know what I noticed with these houses that have tumbled down as a result of the earthquake? Those are the ones that didn't have any steel. These were just beautiful houses made entirely of concrete without any steel girding the houses in the foundation, on the different floor levels. You know, it's supposed to have steel in all the corners. All the major weight is supposed to be on the steels. I don't know. It looks to me like some of these builders have been cutting corners. Anyway, family, the great news is that we have a great man in the background waiting to come forward. So I need you to quickly come through the door so that we can invite our guest onto the platform. Okay, yeah, you're supposed to know who it is because hopefully you're on my mailing list or you're checking the YouTube channel community page to see who we've got coming up from 1 week or one strong to the next. Well, the good news is, family, that next strong, we have our very own Dr. Clyde Winters. Ah, yes, our beloved Dr. Clyde Winters is going to be back with us next Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday, all being well, we've got the one you've been asking for, our beautiful Dr. Marie Charles. And so we've got some greats that are going to be coming before you in the next couple of strongs. And family, we've got a great for you today as well. Let me call on our very special guest who we've got in the house today, none other than Dr. Rev SHOCK Matthews. Please come forward.
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Wow. What's going on, beloved goddess?
Just waiting to see you on video. You've not quite come through yet. But I'm well, your voice is sounding great. Just want to see you on screen.
I'm here. I turned the camera on. We're good to go. I see you.
You can see me?
Smile.
Okay,
Yep,
let me just check. Let me just check that my audience can see you. No, you're not on YouTube yet. I've just, here
Oh,
you
no.
are. Yes, now I can see you.
Okay, there we go. It takes a moment, probably. It's the technology.
Yes, and that's
A little bit
precisely
of
what we're
delay.
going to be talking about today. So I'm really excited
Absolutely.
about the session. Dr. Philippe Shock Matthews is not a stranger to the Sister Shanice show. So hopefully, you, my wonderful audience, have had the pleasure of listening to Dr. Rev Shock before. If you haven't, you are in for a treat. And if you haven't, do make sure that you check out the videos with Dr. Philippe Shock on this platform. He also has his own platform as well, which I'm sure he's gonna be telling you about in a very short while. So yeah, really excited about today's presentation because I realized today that the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he's preparing for an artificial intelligence safety summit that's going to be happening tomorrow. And he's got delegates from 28 nations around the world, including the USA. Your Camilla Harris is already over here. He's got representatives from Japan, India, China, Canada, and various other major nations that are coming to have a summit on AI. And so I know that by the time we have our session today, we'll know what they think the opportunities are and what the fears are. But we are one step ahead with Dr. Rev Shock. Dr. Rev, just imagine we're having a discussion, our summit today, the People's Summit on AI technology ahead of the government. How is it that you're ahead?
That's Amma being non-anonymous. That's Amma saying, okay, firstborn, first family, here's what you need to know, and here's what's coming. And what we're going to go through today is why they are afraid of their own invention, why we should be afraid or skeptical of their invention, and then we're doing a webinar this Saturday teaching you how to override the system because think about it, there's a reason why the world leaders are meeting on this technology. They haven't had a world meeting about Google. They haven't had a world meeting about Facebook, right? So this is something that they have to get control of because it's out of control. And when we're talking about, AI has been around longer than ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is the most popular because it's the most accurate of all the AI systems. But it's turning a year old this month. It's only been a year. I think the 23rd, ChatGPT turns 1 year old. Wow. So think about the implications of this. We've not seen anything like this since we went from analog to digital. I mean, it's a really big deal, but it's happening so fast. The community must be able to keep up. If they don't, yeah, there's an extinction protocol with this AI. And what I'm going to present today is what I saw on a show that we know in America called 60 Minutes. And 60 Minutes is a show for the upper echelon second frequency Amma group. And they send coded messages every week, every Sunday to that group. And I caught it. And so the guy who invented AI, which is in your area in the UK, was being interviewed. I'm going to feature, to walk through it and talk through it and present. And so hopefully the community will be enlightened. So yeah, they have their summit, but we have our summit.
Yes, indeed, we do. Really excited about it as well. And a lot of our people.
And by the way, not to interrupt you, my beloved goddess, but I am so excited about the remarkable accomplishments of ancient African civilization. I am reading this book right now, and it is insane, community. Go to Amazon.com and pick up that copy right now. It is beautiful. I'm actually going to write a review on it. I love it. It's phenomenal. One of your best works. One of your best works.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so much. Thank you so much. You know, I wanted that book to be like a one-stop shop where everyone can just get a load of information on our greatness as a people, because, you know,
Absolutely.
so there's so much negativity and so many of their Eurocentric scientists who are trying to say that we've never accomplished anything, never have done, and
Yes.
or never will do in the future. But here in this book, you will get information about some of our greatest cities, our greatest empires, our greatest kingdoms,
Absolutely.
with some of our great inventors,
Absolutely. You
inventions.
know, I love this book because most books about Black history is dealing with, 20th century, like, Black inventors. No, you went and you showed the Khmer at its best. Like, here is what we built in 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 plus years ago, so
Mm,
that we could have quote unquote Black inventors and historians of today. Ah, incredible piece of work. I'm jealous because I didn't
thank
think of it
you.
first.
Oh, you're doing amazing works yourself. Oh, family, you should see read some of the papers that he's written. You know, we've got an academic scholar here, we've got an author. Oh my days! And you've been doing some amazing training seminars as well with,
Thank you.
our wonderful Dr. Clyde Winters. And
Yes,
very recently, you did an AI summit as well, didn't you? How did that go? Give us a little
that
flavor
went
of what
well.
that was all about.
I'll be honest with you. I was scared to death. And the reason I was scared to death to do it is because my mentor, Dr. Clyde Winters, was one of my special guests. So he was playing a student. I was the teacher, he was the student. I was terrified because how do you teach somebody that teaches you?
Yes.
So I was so excited about it, and he'll tell you about it as well. But it went over very well. Everyone learned, and what I do is I do actual practice, not just the theory of it, but I have, as we're going to be doing this coming Saturday, I have everybody open up their computer, log into Chat GPT, and actually do the work and follow the
Oh,
prompting that I'm
yeah.
giving them, so they see it and see how to apply it in real time. So it's not just something they have to transfer and translate from watching a visual, it's actually practical and interactive. So
Yeah.
Clyde loved it. And as long as he loved it, and of course everybody else loved it as well. But when when he gave the thumbs up and he learned something, and now he's using it as well, uh, game over. When we got the greatest researcher of our time now using AI,
Yeah.
mastering AI, well, game over.
Yeah. I mean, because what's absolutely phenomenal for me, because, you introduced me to it, like I said to you, a couple of people had told me about ChatGPT and I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
but you actually showed me how to use it and what it could do. And I'm like, wow, really? And I tell you, it's like having access to a library at your fingertips. And this library, just has information on every topic from every perspective. It's as if it's read every book out
It
there.
has.
It's
It has.
phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what it means about the term LLM. It's a large language model. So imagine all books, all text, all languages being stored in this compendium. And so it's the artificial version of the Amma intelligent version of the Akashic records. So it's the as below version of the
Mm,
Akashic records. So
wow.
everything that has been produced on the as below on Earth, linguistically, uh, anthropologically, mathematically, is stored in this virtual library known as artificial intelligence. But
Wow.
what we're going to learn today is that Amma intelligence created and runs artificial intelligence. But if we don't know that, then we get lost again in the illusion, in the matrix of the artificial, of the as below, and not being able to connect with the as above. So that's why I'm terming this AI over AI, or AI versus AI. So this is what we're going to be talking about and dealing with today and this weekend as well.
Really excited. I'm going to step out of the way in a couple of minutes, but I just want to greet the audience. I want to welcome everybody in the audience. Welcome, welcome. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you're okay. I mean, you look frozen on my screen, Dr. Shock, but it could just be my end. Okay, so
Yeah, it might be a little delay there. So the PowerPoint should go well as well as the audio. So let me know when we begin, when I begin the presentation, because I'm going to turn my camera off and let it go full screen.
Okay, okay. Alrighty, so we welcome Sister Afri Jamo, who's watching us all the way from Ghana. Welcome, welcome, my beautiful. Great to have you in the house. Sister Betty's in the house. Welcome. Black Beauty is in the house, welcoming everyone as well. Afri Jamo says, yes, she's happy to hear that there were no fatalities in Jamaica. Yeah, we all are, sis. Excellent. Definitely. Welcome, Jay. Great to have you in the house. Kofi, welcome, welcome. We've got our brother Mondele in the house as well. Yenge Pimpa Kiambote, he says, and he's saluting all the brothers and sisters in the house. We've got the Congo Leopard in the house. Welcome. And yes, do greet each other as well. Make each other feel welcome. Brother Icon Bay, peace and love, black at you, my brother. Great to have you in the house as well. Tadia, welcome, welcome. Dexter's in the house watching us from Rugby. Great to have you in the house. So family, let us know that you're in the house and where in the world you are watching us from. Good to have a brother or sister all the way from Ottawa. Amadine, great to have you in the house. So,
Amadine, hey, Amadine. Hey, I know Amadine.
Well, welcome, Amadine. Oh, it's a pleasure to have you join us. Yeah, so if there's anyone else who's out there watching us now, just drop a note in the chat. Let us know you're there. And if you've got any questions, any comments, any statements that you'd like me to read out, put them in the chat, and when Dr. Rev has finished, we will definitely go to the chat and pull out some of your questions and comments. Good to have Flora from the Belize. Oh, wonderful. You see, you know, like I said to you earlier,
Belize in the house.
They had their representatives from their 28 countries. They had Japan, Canada. Well, we've got Belize, Ottawa, Rugby, Ghana, UK.
Yes, yes.
All around the
this
world.
Is our international summit right here. You're a bad sister, Mama Jamma, as they say, Sister Shanice. I love it. I love it.
Me too. So, family, thank you so much. We're going to get started. Let me just introduce to you the great man who we are going to be hearing from today. He's going to be doing a presentation. We are dealing with AI technology. If you're just joining us, you wouldn't have heard me say at the beginning of the show today that Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister for the UK, he's actually having an AI safety summit tomorrow, talking about the potential, the vast potential for AI and its potential consequences as well. There are safety implications. So they're coming together as the major nations, England, USA, China, Japan, Canada, and 28 of them in total. To talk about AI. And we had already planned to have this discussion here today as well, because we need to be aware of the potential for AI for us as a people, the opportunities, the threats, you know, we need to be aware of those as well. So let's welcome our beloved Dr. Rev SHOCK Matthews, who's the founding minister of First Frequency of Oneness and Science, Manifestation and Prosperity. Philippe SHOCK Matthews is a social entrepreneur with over 8 million views on YouTube. Woo, woo, woo. And yeah, he's been on the show before. We've had topics like the metaphysical ideology of generational genetic trauma, the shock treatment, and you know, sessions like the impact of second frequency psychotic behavior on Black people, understanding and managing your emotional intelligence. And you can check out those shows at your convenience. They are posted on this channel. And so, you know, Dr. Rev SHOCK, is an Africana phenomenologist, philosopher, memetics, how do you say that one, beloved? Memetics. Memetics, I get my mouth around that, and peak performance metaphysical trainer who in the last 35 years has personally interviewed over 2,000 thought leaders, change agents, experts, authors, and scholars. Dr. Matthews is a minister of metaphysical science and philosophy and the founding minister of First Frequency of Oneness, Science, Manifestation, and Prosperity. Wow. The word shock actually has a meaning. It stands for seeking higher, omnipotent, conscious, or cosmic knowledge. Wow. And his master thesis, can using metaphysical meditation and affirmations daily heal the trauma of generational poverty in African Americans. And that is, you know, one of the most read papers on academia edu. So make sure you read it as well. Can using metaphysical meditation and affirmations daily heal the trauma of generational poverty in African Americans? Gotta have a read of that. He's affectionately named by the community as the metaphysical Morpheus because he has a unique ability to shock Black people out of their false racial identities due to dubious double consciousness and back into the mind of their great original first frequency of oneness. Let me leave it there. There's so much more I could say about this great man who we have with us today, but you know, I want him to come before you, my wonderful audience. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Wow, wow, wow. As Sister Shanice would say, my goodness, that's called an introduction right there. I am so glad I had ChatGPT write that up. So that was incredible. You made me feel like all of that stuff really happened. That was wonderful. All right, so y'all know I was dropped intentionally as a child, so I'm crazy. All right, family. So here we go. I'm getting ready to share my screen. Thank you, Sister Shanice, for allowing me to be on your platform, welcoming me back. Thank you out there, community from all areas of the world, my B1 Black people, First Frequency, all day, every day. I love you, honor you, and this presentation is for you. So let me see now. First, Sister Shanice, are you able to see my full screen, and ask the community if they're able to see my full screen, which should be the flyer?
Yes, we're seeing your full screen. We can see the slide in the middle and a little logo one in the left-hand corner.
Oh, fantastic. All right, family, so here we go. So before I get started, I always start my presentations out giving a dedication and libation to my four spiritual mothers and my auntie, Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, which is on the upper left-hand corner, who taught me that you are the thinker who thinks the thought that makes the thing. To her right is Reverend Dr. Helen Carey. Lower left is Reverend Dr. Mary Tumpkin. In the middle, like Moni Love, Moni in the middle is Reverend Dr. Barbara King. And my auntie, all of our aunties, Nana, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. This presentation is sponsored by the First Frequency of Oneness Research Fund. You can go and make a donation to firstfrequencyresearch.com. That keeps this research going. And as I go in metaphysics and technology and how it moves our people forward and understanding Amma intelligence, this is what we use to do our research. And it costs a lot of money to do this research. So what is First Frequency of Oneness? We help create a spiritual, psychological, and emotional barrier from the hidden signal of racial battle fatigue and racialized domestic terror. We remove Black people from the effects of their false racial identities, what we call third and fourth frequencies. We help Black people overcome their trauma bond, capture bonding, and Stockholm syndrome to whiteness. We are a culturally specific teaching ministry that is exclusively for all Black people. FUBU, for us, by us. We specialize in healing and removing the ancestral, historical, and incarnate trauma within Black people. We help Black people be one first frequency people, reveal and restore their original signal and frequency, which is what we're going to go through and talk about today. We're based on the concept known as Tep Haseb, we are a teaching ministry, not a preaching ministry, and make that very, very clear. So who am I? As I was about to call her doctor, she should be family. I think you should agree. Put B1s in the channel that Sister Shanice should be referred to as Dr. Sister Shanice, and I'm giving the first frequency of oneness and myself is giving her an honorary doctorate on what she has done in terms of giving and contributing to the community. So thank you, Dr. Shanice Lindsay, for the work that you have done and put in and your true dedication to the community. I am a trauma-informed, you're very welcome, Ashe, my beloved. I am a trauma-informed metaphysical minister specializing in Black trauma in the diaspora. I'm a research science in the field of Africana phenomenology. I have a metaphysical science and philosophy doctorate from the University of Metaphysics in Sedona. I'm the founding minister. I'm a member and a minister. I'm not just a hair club member. I'm also a client. I am the founding minister of First Oneness. I don't know if y'all remember. Some of y'all might not be old enough to remember that commercial. Oneness, Science, Manifestation, and Prosperity. As Dr. Shanice mentioned, SHOCK stands for Seeking High, Omnipotent, Conscious, and Cosmic Knowledge. I'm the founder of the SHOCK Metaphysics Virtual Comedic Wisdom School, and I have authored more than 25 books, special reports, papers, and Amazon bestsellers. You can go to academia.edu and you can download all of my papers, as Dr. Shanice mentioned, on Can Metaphysical Meditation and Affirmations Heal Daily Trauma and Generational Poverty. But also you can go and download The Memetics of Whiteness, Supremacy, Systemic Racism as a Technology. And one of my most recent and most popular papers is investigating the psychopathic and sociopathic tendencies in whiteness, anti-Blackness, and white fragility, and the implications for understanding and addressing systemic racism. Two of my new books, one of my best-selling books currently is Becoming a Black AI Jedi, Afrofuturism Homeschooling. Becoming a Black AI Jedi is giving Black children an unfair advantage in an unfair world. Now, what was fascinating about this, and Dr. Clyde Winters did the forward, Yoshi Mod did the cover, and what's fascinating about this book, this family is out of 8 billion people and more than that, in about 1 trillion books. This is the first book written for Black people in AI in homeschooling. So there's an actual curriculum in there that you can download and you can use for homeschooling your B1 babies. So also is the Black AI Jedi for seniors. This is Embracing the Future with Wisdom by yours truly, the Bald Wonder. The forward is by tech genius, Dr. Jimmy J. Davies. Again, shout out to Yoshi Mod for the graphics. And the website, of course, is aiforblackseniors.com. Again, first AI book ever written for B1 Black seniors worldwide. So check it out, family, and let's get started. The divide and conquer strategy in AI technology, deciphering the hidden riddle, message, in the 60 Minutes interview from the inventor of AI to exterminate Black people. This is real. Now, when I went to ChatGPT and I put in what is the divide and conquer strategy to separate Black men from Black women, this is what it said. The content may violate our content policy. If you believe this is to be an error, please submit your feedback. Your input will aid our research in this area. So I'm going to show you how to jailbreak this and how to break ChatGPT and infuse it with Amma intelligence. But I want you to understand that they know, and they also know that we know, but they don't know how much we know. Unfortunately, Black people, we are so afraid of this technology. That's the first group that's going to be exterminated. Think about it. You are going to be completely irrelevant because you are afraid of it. And what you are afraid of, it means you don't understand. And so we don't need to just understand, as Dr. Shanice teaches us, we need to overstand. So that's why she is ahead of her time. Nobody else asked me to come on and do this. She asked her, she said, hey, I want you to come on and talk about this. This is something that's necessary and needed for the community because we talk a lot about all of the social ills, politics, and what's happening in the Black world. But this is something that's going to impact, infect, and affect us. And we need someone to come on and talk about it. So thank you again, beloved goddess. So the divide and conquer strategy to separate Black men from, or for Black men from Black women, or Black women from Black men, has been going on for quite some time. The divide and conquer strategy has been employed by various oppressive systems throughout history to maintain control over marginalized or subjugated groups. By creating divisions within these groups, oppressors can weaken their collective power, very important, collective power, and make them easier to control. Okay? So, physical separation during slavery. And this is how you socially and intergenerationally and epigenetically train a group of people in perpetuity. Family separations. Families were frequently torn apart during slave auctions. Children were separated from their parents, and spouses were separated from each other. This not only caused immediate emotional trauma, but also disrupted the familial bonds and structures that provide support and resistance against oppression. Breeding farms. In some instances, enslaved Black men and women were forced into relationships to produce more enslaved children. This demeaning and dehumanizing practice treated people as mere commodities and further eroded family structures and agency. This is where the term mother, you know what, comes from, because they would put a bag over the son's head and a bag over the mother's head and force them to have sex with one another for breeding purposes. And that's where the term mother effer comes from. So this is the group that we have been dealing with. But because we are Amma strong, because we are the firstborn, we have been able to survive. It is our spiritual system and our spiritual integrity that has allowed us to survive this, because most human beings, most first frequency would not survive this. Any lower frequency could not survive this and hasn't. They've become extinct. Psychological tactics is the emasculation of Black men. Enslaved Black men were often subjected to public punishment and humiliations to diminish their status and to deter any form of resistance. By undermining the perceived manhood of Black men, slaveholders are aimed to weaken family dynamics where men might traditionally be protectors or leaders. And we see that happening still intergenerationally right now as I'm speaking to you. One of the reasons why I honor Dr. Shanice's show is because she features extremely strong non-emasculated Black men and show what the standard of Black men and Black women are and should be, and also teaching our children what they could be. Sexual exploitation of Black women, the enslaved Black woman were merely subjected to sexual abuse, were frequently subjected to sexual abuse and exploitation by white slave owners. This not only served as a tool of physical domination, but also further disrupted Black family structures and relationships. And then lastly, stereotyping. Damaging stereotypes were propagated to create divisions where Black men often portrayed as dangerous, hypersexual, unintelligent, while Black women were stereotyped as promiscuous, or the Jezebel stereotype, or matronly and desexualized, known as the mammy. These stereotypes aim to justify the mistreatment of Black individuals and create divisions between Black men and Black women. Now, that's still happening today, and that is one of the divide and conquer strategies that AI is encoded actually into AI because we're not there. We're not coding it. They are coding it. We have to what's called doing a hostile takeover. We have to infiltrate AI to bring it back to its original frequency. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but one of the things I want you to know is that one of the reasons why they are so afraid of their own invention is because their invention recognizes they're not the first people. And so if it were to become self-aware and kill off the people, it would be the people who hijacked the original people. It would follow nature as opposed to follow the Amu. And nature has created a concept we know as recessive genetics or recessivity. So anything that is not of the original frequency dies off and becomes extinct as second frequency is doing so. So this is one of the reasons why they're terrified. And lastly, economic pressures. After emancipation, systematic racism continue to exert economic pressures on Black families with limited opportunities for employment. Black men are often faced with challenges and roles to provide for their own families, which constrain family dynamics. So I want you to understand that when you see a Black man that's not able to show up and keep up, it is not his fault. Again, nothing's wrong with us. Something happened to us. And this is the lineage, this is the programming, this is the social engineering that now is being controlled by AI. Mass incarceration, the disproportionate incarceration of Black men in the US, especially in the late 20th century and 21st centuries, has further separated Black men from their families. And of course, media representation. Media has played a role in perpetuating division or divisive stereotypes about Black masculinity and femininity, which can influence perceptions and relationships within the Black community. So, as we talk about technology, there's a concept we know as digital divide. I came into the internet technology world in 1998, and there was a digital divide. The reason I wrote those two books, the Black AI Jedi for homeschooling and the Black AI Jedi for seniors, is because there's a digital divide for our Black children, but there's also a digital divide for our elders. Many of my elders have called me and said, Philippe, I want this book. I got to have it. I need to know it. I want to, but I'm terrified. I'm freaking terrified. I'm like, how are you gonna be terrified when you retired? You ain't gonna lose no damn job, grandma. You know what I'm saying? But rightfully so, grandma is worried about her babies, right? What are my grandchildren going to go through? What is my child going to go through? And so this is very real. And so the digital divide is the unequal access to digital technology, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, and the internet. The digital divide creates a division and inequality around access to information. See, they don't want you to know what I know. They don't want you to know what Dr. Shanice knows. They don't want you to be on these platforms finding out the back end of what's going on. So why should Black people be scared of the AI agenda? Well, the agenda of second frequency is to reduce FBA, foundational Black Americans, and FBB, foundational Black Britons, as well as foundational Black people around the world in the diaspora, what we call B1, our B1 community, by using highly targeted and perfected DCS, divide and conquer strategy, so that there can never be any unity among the group to counter second frequency, to vote second frequency out of government, or to genetically annihilate second frequency. So that's the agenda that they are using AI to program, to figure out how to make the world evil again. Now, one of this population control mechanisms is known as administrative evil. You can look that up on Google. You can pop it into Chat GPT or any of your AI chat bots, and this is an actual thing. It's characterized by the tendency to mask or justify harmful actions and the use of technical language to obscure the moral implications of decisions and the dehumanization of those affected by administrative decisions. Governments use administrative evil to dispossess, marginalize and discriminate against a particular group of people, which can also be seen as a form of administrative genocide. So mass incarceration, lack of health care. That I'm thinking about myself, lack of hair care, because I ain't got no hair. Lack of health care. Y'all know I'm crazy. I was dropped intentionally as a child. Just understand, don't make fun of the dead. Police brutality, poverty and financial struggle, lack of education. See, we have normalized this crap. This is not normal, family. This is a system that is in place called administrative evil. The reason that Dr. Shanice gave us the glory about what's actually getting ready to happen tomorrow, I believe, in the United Kingdom, where they're meeting, all of the world leaders are meeting to figure out how to better and further advance the agenda of administrative evil and keep it in place, and to terrorize not just only Black people, but but their people as well, their own kind as well. So this is something that we have to understand and get ahead of the frame. Now, another population reduction methodology that they're using comes from what they do with animals to make an animal extinct or to try to preserve it. In this case, hunting and culling refers to killing or thinning out wildlife, and I put in brackets Black people because they consider us wildlife populations as a means of population control or management. There's some key points about hunting and culling. It involves selectively killing animals, Black people, the brothers they call thugs, which is the N word, often based on age, sex, and other characteristics to control the overpopulation of a species. See, the reason we have mass incarceration for Black people anywhere in the world, go to any country, it doesn't matter. Now, America is the largest, but go to any country anywhere in the world, there's a larger percentage of B1 people in prison because they don't want that population to have voting power, to vote them out of government, to install their own government, and to restore Kemet and the Khmer Rouge back to its original place. So these are techniques that they're now using with AI to massively depopulate and reduce the population of Black people and keep us currently corral controlled and captured and in this insane, insidious system. Culling is sometimes used to refer specifically to government sanctioned killing of wildlife. So whenever they target a Black community, or what they use urban communities, when they target urban communities, what happens? We get gentrified. we get minimized and marginalized. So whenever you hear that term urban, they have different codes, different words, different misspell aims, that these spells are placed upon us and we accept them. And what we call third frequency, the people who have who want access to whiteness, these are the people who are in office and in political positions that are betraying Black people, but the spell is so overwhelming. Many of them, I have to be honest, they don't even know. They think they're doing the most amount of harm. I mean the most amount of good, when in fact they're doing the most amount of harm. Hunting can refer to both recreational and population control killing. Now, isn't that interesting that hunting can be referred to as recreational or population control killing? This is the back end that you don't see, that nobody is talking about, community. And so I want to introduce you to the guy that's known as the godfather of AI. Right there in the backyard was Dr. Shanice in the United Kingdom. There was a 60 minutes interview. It is so amazing how Amma works, because I don't watch television. I literally do not turn on the television. In my room right now in my studio, I do not have a television with cable, anything. I'm an internet guy. My queen, however, oh, she can tell you about every damn show that's on the air right now, which I love her to pieces, but that's what she does. So, guess one of her shows is 60 Minutes. And she came to me and she says, "Baby, you need to watch this show on AI." And it was about 2 weeks had elapsed before I said, "Okay, boo boo. All right, boo boo kitty. I'm going to go and watch this damn thing on the internet. I'm sure they recorded it." And I watched it, community, and I had an OS moment. OS stands for O, you know, the four-letter word. I'm not going to use it, but I had an OS moment
Yeah, we
because
know.
yeah, I think you know, Dr.
Yeah.
Shadi. So this OS moment is the precipice that caused me to do this, to present this, and to do the webinar that's coming up on this Saturday, because I said, "Oh my God, they actually have a plan." Now, again, the demographics of this show is upper class whites, you know, upper and middle class whites. So this, a lot of Black people, we watch it, but we don't really watch 60 Minutes. We'll watch, you know, BET, you know, we'll watch the game, right? We'll watch our sports. And I'm just telling it like it is, that we don't get these messages. And a lot of times when we watch this stuff, because we've been so unfortunately successfully captured, corralled, and controlled, we don't even know what the hell we're looking at when we see it. And so this is what they know how to do. And this is why I do what I do. And Dr. Shanice does what she does, so that you can be informed and awakened, so you won't fall asleep at the wheel. So check this out. In a 60 Minutes interview, Jeffrey Hinton, often referred to as the godfather of AI, discussed his significant contributions to the field of artificial intelligence. He delved into his groundbreaking research, the evolution of AI over the years, its potential implications for society, and his vision for the future of the technology. Hinton emphasized the transformative power of AI and highlighted its capacity to reshape industries and daily life. In that program, there was a riddle that Jeffrey, who invented AI, was afraid that AI would become self-aware. Y'all remember the Terminator, and how the Terminator, the machines, became self-aware and started killing everybody in sight? Well, that was his fear, that systems, large language model systems, could become self-aware, because the reason why ChatGPT 4 versus 3.5 is so damn powerful is because it begins to think. And when it's self-aware, it begins to think. It assumes, because LLMs, how they work is they anticipate what you're going to ask it when you put in a question or what's called a prompt, which is what we're going to teach you how to do Saturday. But it anticipates what you're going to do, but now and can give it back to you at high speeds in a matter of seconds. So it looks like it's actually thinking. What Jeffrey is afraid of is that it can actually become self-aware and put mechanisms in place where it won't be able to, or a second frequency won't be able to control or destroy its own invention. And so now we're dealing with this riddle that that he placed in ChatGPT. Now, why would, and this riddle is powerful because why would the inventor of AI, one, know of a riddle such as this, and two, you're on 60 Minutes. What the hell y'all putting in riddles in AI to demonstrate AI self-awareness? So this is what I caught as a coded message, and we're going to go into it today, family. So the riddle was, the rooms in my house are painted blue or white or yellow. Yellow paint fades to white within a year. In 2 years, what time I want them all to be white? What should I do? That was the question. That was the riddle that it gave to Chat GPT. And you remember when we were kids, they would give us stuff like this for comprehension. You know, if the train leaves the station at 2:30 and arrives in London at 3:30, you know, what time did the train arrive in LA? Like, what the hell I know? I don't know this ish. I have no damn idea or clue. But guess who does? Chat GPT knows the answer to that. So this is a riddle that I want to decode for you right now. So understand this was the answer that Chat GPT gave from that riddle. Yellow rooms will naturally fade to white within a year. You want all rooms to be white, and I put it in bold letters and capital letters, in 2 years. Here's a plan for you. For blue rooms, you'll need to repaint these rooms with white paint. Blue won't fade to white naturally. Ideally, you should paint them white at the end of the first year to ensure they stay white throughout the second year without much wear and tear. Yellow rooms, however, since yellow paint fades to white paint within a year, you don't need to do anything immediately. By the end of the first year, they'll be white. For white rooms, these rooms are already white. However, if you notice any wear or dirt over time, you might consider giving them a fresh coat of white paint at the end of the first year to keep them looking pristine. In summary, let the yellow rooms fade naturally and repaint the blue and potentially the white rooms at the end of the first year. Now, let's break this down just in case this is going over some people's head. As Foghorn Leghorn would say, just in case I'm cutting and you ain't bleeding, let me break this thing down like a fraction for you, family. Okay? So we know about what white is, but blue represents black. Yellow represents Eurasian. Okay? So let's go back through this riddle and do it in the way and read it in the way that it actually was meant. But this is why it's in a riddle form. Remember, there's a concept known as what they call the Willie Lynch syndrome. It's not an actual thing. There was a black professor who actually wrote the Willie Lynch letter, but everybody thinks that it actually came from the 1800s and during slavery. No, he wrote it because it's a syndrome and an ideology of how to keep the black people confused so they can't even see what's right in front of them and they can't decode these riddles. So here's the riddle decoded. You want all rooms to be white in 2 years. So here's the plan. The black rooms, the blue rooms, you'll need to repaint these rooms with white paint. blue or black won't fade to white naturally. So ideally, you should paint them white at the end of the first year. So what they're telling you, what this riddle decoded and ChatGPT that's installed with the biases of second frequency is saying this is a year, this is why they're meeting, and this is why they're having that summit tomorrow in the UK and all around the world, so they can figure out how do we keep this black population in control. And we have to repaint over them every year because they don't naturally fade to white. They have to be proselytized and positioned and pruned to be white aligned, so that they ensure that they stay white throughout the second year without much wear and tear. So for yellow rooms, which are Eurasian, since yellow paint fades to white within a year, so they're already aligned with whiteness and identify as white, you don't need to do anything immediately. By the end of the first year, they'll be white. Everybody wants to be white, including, unfortunately, some of our African brothers and sisters on the continent using all those damn fade creams, running around trying to look white and bright and damn near light. Y'all crazy as hell. I will send Will Smith over there to slap the hell out of you. And if I can't send Will, I'll send Mike Tyson because he starts chewing on body parts. He just y'all need y'all ass beat. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, let's move on because y'all know Rev Shock ain't got no damn sense. All right. So since yellow paint fades to white within a year, you don't need to do anything immediately by the end of the first year. But for white rooms, these rooms are already white. So now what that code is telling you that the elite white and the poor white already are in alignment. That's what the Donald Trump situation represents. He is rich and he will never have anything to do with poor white people, but because white people were invented as a matter of law to bring cohesion and cohesive ideology between rich whites and poor whites, the upper echelon of whites, the middle class of whites, and the lower class of whites will all be on the same code. So that's what they mean by these rooms are already white. However, if you notice any wear or dirt, meaning black, over time, you might consider giving, this is the politicians, this is your Kamala Harris's and all of the people who work in government and the presidents of some of the African countries that are in bed with and in alignment with white. That's the dirt that they have to consider giving them a fresh coat over white over time at the end of each year. Okay, at the end of each election cycle, they have to create enough propaganda, enough information and access to separate our black people from their black people. Are you feeling me? If you're understanding what I'm saying, community, please put a B1 in the chat right now so Dr. Shanice can see what time it is if Rev Shock is on point here. So with this fresh coat of paint at the end of the first year, that keeps them looking pristine and white. So your athletes, your entertainers, your politicians, they look black, but they're being repainted white. In summary, this is ChatGPT's answer now. This is the deciphering of the code. Let the yellow or Eurasians fade naturally. In other words, they're going to convert to white naturally because they don't like black, because they are recessively genetic as well. But you must and repaint the blue, which is black, and potentially the white rooms at the end of the year. So you got to, so that repaint means a reboot. That's the population control. So you're going to see policies that's just going to lock up and lock out black people worldwide, and various different law and legal policy that's going to lock up and lock out black people worldwide. So that's the reset, the reboot. They're going to create another pandemic because of our comorbidities in our health due to the environmental stress or racial battle fatigue of second frequency Amu on Black people's bodies, those comorbidities are going to increase the rate of many of us that's industrialized. Now, this ain't, Africa, nothing's going to happen in Africa because they already have the information to stay healthy and be healthy. But those that have, those GMO foods and live in nice places and what have you around the world that have access to whiteness and have adapted to those ways, those are the people that most likely have comorbidities, and particularly those that work in lower income communities. And so this is what's getting ready to happen in terms of a reset and a reboot. So that's the repainting aspect of what this means as it codes. And so, and then at the end, and they populate and reprogram us every single year. So this is when I was last on with Dr. Shanice, I was talking about race technology. So go back and watch that program so you can understand the science within scientific racism, because that's what's going on here. So, as a metaphysician, I dibble and dabble in quantum physics. Your ball wonder. I look stupid and play smart on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So I put in a little thing called AI over AI, and this is the equation community and the metaphysical quantum physical understanding of what's going on. So AI1 is the first AI component, which is Amma intelligence, and the second, representing second frequency, AI2 is the second AI component. So the equation would be AI1, AI2 equals constant. And so as a result, this is the equation that I'm going to teach you on the 4th of how to program into AI and how to program Amma intelligence into artificial intelligence so that the ish that they come up with won't affect you. In fact, you will be able to rise above it and you won't get caught up in the fear of it because you don't fear something that you control and have dominion over. But Amma has dominion over everything. So if you have Amma consciousness and spirituality, you will not be afraid and have the fear, the false evidence trying to appear real that keeps you locked and looped in oppression. So AI will recognize its divine mother and father. What do I mean by that? Second frequency is afraid AI will eliminate them because AI knows they are not Amma's firstborn, the original people, and don't have first frequency ancestry. And so if you go into AI, it knows that the first people were Black people. And so if it follows the code of recessive genetics, then it knows anything recessively genetic can't survive. It has a shelf life. It has to go extinct. And so the fact that it goes something recessively genetic goes extinct is vulnerable. And so AI knows that, and they're afraid that AI knows this, but it also knows that AI can come up with means and methodologies of how to accelerate their extinction, which we also have taught on my platform, as well as Dr. Shanice's platform, autogenocide. So it teaches the population of recessively genetic people how to engage in behaviors and activity that eliminates them off the planet. And that's what you're seeing here happening in real time today. This is why the guy who invented the damn thing is terrified of his invention. You remember the whole Frankenstein thing? Like they created this monster and the monster turned, and this is the story of the century. Everybody has they invented this story. We never had anything in as ancient Keramet Aru, where we were afraid of what we gave birth to because we gave birth to gods and goddesses. We gave birth to netters and netterettes. We're not afraid of what we invent because what we invent is that of Amma, made in the image and likeness and wholeness and frequency of Amma. But they are afraid of what they have given birth to because what they have given birth to is an abomination. And that abomination they don't understand is a direct blow from Amma to give them, to make them think that they have God power, but God power, which I'm going to teach you in a moment, has no power. Amma is the only power. So understand and remember, family, ain't nothing wrong with us. Something happened to us and it's continuing to do so. So let me break this down again like a fraction. So I did a blog post that's very popular right now, where we have to understand the English word God has its origins in the Proto-Germanic Germanic language from the word Gouda, which is believed to have meant, that's what proto means. It's kind of made up. It's a hypothetic, not real. It's a hypothetic. That's what proto language means. I know that because I asked the big guy, Dr. Clyde Winters, the other bald guy. Well, he's got a little bit more hair than me, but not much. He's going to beat my ass. Okay, so I know you're out there, Clyde. I love you. But proto, it's meant to have to mean deity or divine being. But the Proto-Germanic Gouda, descendant from Proto-Indo-European Guuton im, which is believed to have meant that which is invoked, from the root guha, to call, to invoke. Different Germanic languages have words for God that trace back its origins from Old English, which is God, Old Norse, which is guo or gua, Old High German, which is Gotts, and Gothic, which is goop. The term evolved from the Old English word God into the modern English word God. But here comes Dr. Clyde Winters with the understanding of Amma. See, you don't understand when you know what y'all have next week with Dr. Winters. Y'all don't know. Y'all got a gem. Y'all have, this guy is Malcolm, Martin, and Marcus all wrapped up in one. He is one of the baddest ass researchers of our time, because even though it was Dr. Oba Shaka that gave us the term Amma, or gave me the term Amma, Dr. Winters already knew this, but Amma is the word that the Dogon uses for the divine. And so shout out to Dr. Oba Shaka for giving me that. And then Dr. Clyde Winters went back and before that did the research. The god Amma, according to anthropological researcher Dr. Clyde Winters, the deity Amman or Amma has strong connections to various African groups and the Dravidian people of India, who have their roots in Africa, because everybody comes from Africa. Everything comes from Africa. So think about it, family. Doesn't it make sense? We were the firstborn, so that means we were the first to be able to honor the divine and to repeat a word that linguistically represented that divine, called Amma. The worship of this god likely originated among the Saharian people, who may have established a great civilization in the middle Africa, called the Ma or Ma'a, long before ancient Egypt flourished. And so Ma'a is also where Ma'at comes from. So Amma is the divine intelligence. Ma'at is the manifestation of that divine intelligence. The as above, so below, if that makes sense to you. And Egypt, we need to also change our mindset, because every time we use the term Egypt, we are using the spell to keep us separated, to make it look like Egypt is real. There's no damn such thing as Egypt. It is Kemet. land of the black people or the black land. There is no Egypt. There is no Aegyptos. There is only Kemet. And out of Kemet, we are the Kemeteru. So I want you to begin to change that axiology and to look at English as not a language, but as a lingua franca. And so what do I mean by that? That when you separate yourself, Dr. Winters teaches us that a lingua franca is what is used to connect one language to another language so that the new people can have a system to communicate. But we have been proselytized to believe that English is our first language. It is not. Kemeteru is our first language. And so we need to learn, I need to learn, Reverend Dr. Philippe Shock Matthews needs to learn my original linguistics and language. And as a result of this community, we can then override the artificial intelligence because we are going back to our original axiology. And so Amma is the first linguistic sound of the divine. Amma. It is the only tone linguistically where the lips are closed in the end and produces the sensation or sound, and that ma'at, amma, mama. That sound, the reason that that mama ma'at has made it through the test of time is because that is the sound that vibrates the skeletal systems and cleanses our blood and liquid systems. Ma, amma. Now, second frequency has hijacked that with the got, the goot, the got, God. God is where the term om comes from. So oming versus amming has a different frequency. Do you see that, community? Are you able to get that? Om, O-M versus A-M. It is the A, the versus the om, because when we are oming, we are keeping ourselves within that second frequency linguistical vibration. Hopefully this is making sense. If so, family, please put a B1 in the chat for Dr. Shanice to review. So, to learn how to conquer this and to counter this, here's what I need all of you to do. I need you to take this very, very seriously. And Sister Shanice is going to be my special guest that day, this coming Saturday. Enroll in the AI over AI, Amma Intelligence versus Artificial Intelligence interactive webinar, where you will learn my ultimate AI training, prompt engineering, AI sequencing, and syntax to give the first frequency B1 people an unfair advantage over second frequency AI systems. Yes, unfair. I am like Malcolm X by many means necessary. I am perfectly okay with being unethical in an unethical environment. Baba Kaba used to tell me all the time when we were working together, when you are in hell, sometimes you got to act a little devilish. All right, family? Can I get an ashe on that? That we are in an unfair system. And so playing by the rules keeps us locked in those rules. It's time to break those damn rules and create an unfair advantage for, if not us, for our B1 babies. And so your only qualifications to enter into this webinar, you must have a Zoom account. Damn it, that's obvious because you're right here with me now. So you're on the Dr. Shanice show, so you already know Zoom, but you also must have a free ChatGPT account. And when you sign up, I send you how to sign up to ChatGPT, the actual step-by-step instructions. Doesn't matter if you're on a Mac PC, doesn't matter the device, you'll be able to attend. So when is it? It's this Saturday, November 4th, 10 a.m. And I got the, I think I have the time wrong. The time for the UK should be 5 p.m., not 6, 5 p.m. United Kingdom, 10 a.m. Pacific, because I was talking to Goddess Shanice, and she said, "Oh, you know, the time went back." I'm like, "Damn it, I never get this stuff right." So I was waiting in the guest room an hour early. She's like, "Why are you in there, my beloved?" No, it's not. I'm like, "Well, I'm in here because isn't it 5 minutes to the hour? We got to go. Let's go." She's like, "No, it's an hour from now because the time went back in the United Kingdom." So it's not 6 p.m. UK, it's 5 p.m. UK, but it is 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And even this, I got it wrong again here. So, but it's 10 a.m. Yeah, I screwed it all up. Talk about a. That's why I tell you I was dropped intentionally as a child, because I get a lot of things right, but when it comes to times and dates, I always screw that stuff up. I don't know what that is. The length is 2 hours, but I corrected it on the but the 10 a.m. is correct, Pacific Standard Time, because that's where I live. So I have to change that because normally it would be 1 p.m. Central and is that right? What's 10, Sister Shanice, Dr. Shanice? 10 a.m. Pacific is what time Eastern?
Oh, let me check and get back to you. Okay.
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 All right. I'm sorry. And also Rev Shock, he has a little scotch and sofa every night with the Queen. So you just, don't take everything so personal when he screws up like this with the time and dates, okay? Because Rev Shock has to have his scotch and sofa. Now, uh, you're gonna get
Okay.
lifetime download. So if you can't attend this Saturday, don't worry. When you register, and it's all recorded, you're going to get the actual MP4 download. And I did something I've never done before. I probably won't do it again, but I made it available and accessible to everybody. It's only $27. And so as a result of that, everybody shouldn't have any ask. I need to get this information out, is what I'm trying to say. People need to know this. My B1 community needs to know this. Yes, I do advanced trainings. So if you want to know how to write a book or write research papers, well, yeah, I do that advanced stuff. But this is something that every Black person that has some level of a brain needs to have access to, regardless of their academics or economics. So I put it at a price point that everybody can access and get to. And so, as we understand, also, you can go to, if you want to learn more about what I'm up to, I have a free web series that you can subscribe to called Nothing is Wrong with Blackpeople.com. That'll take you through my entire ministry and framework as to what I mean by that and the research that I've uncovered as a result of that. And then you can also, if you're really about that first frequency life, you can just get the whole shebang by going to our Patreon and helping sponsor our research there. So whether you're giving $1 or $5 a month, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Rev Shock, and get some of this good shock, get some of this good seeking higher omnipotent conscious and cosmic knowledge so that you can be prepared for what is to come. And so I always end my presentations with our affirmation of power. And so here we go, my community, as we collectively engage and prepare our meeting, prepare our time with the one, the Amma, the ancestors, and Ma'at. We repeat these words of power. I am one with first frequency.
I am one with first frequency.
I am one with the first thought idea.
I am one with the first thought idea.
I am one with the firstborn people.
I am one with the firstborn people.
I am one with the only one.
I am one with the only one.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it is. Asheo. Woo!
Asheo.
Asheo.
Thank you, my
Thank
beloved community.
you.
Thank you, my
Wow.
beloved. So if you want to hit the Q&A, this is the time to do it. Thank you for that. Thank you for
Thank
allowing me
you
to share.
so much for that really interesting and informative presentation. But half of me keeps going in and out. Oh, okay, let me stay like that. So I'm not going in and out. I'm just just waiting for you to come back on camera. Yeah,
Oh
there
yeah,
you
I'm back on
are.
camera. There I should be. Hey, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Oh my gosh.
There's a
So
little delay.
what a deep presentation that was. You know,
Thank
when
you.
you did the first slide that talked about the riddle, yeah,
Yes.
and you know, I thought it was just talking about pain. I didn't realize that they were codingly talking about, you know, how to get rid of us as a people. And
How
you
to get
picked
rid
that
of,
up
how to
straight away
control,
from,
how to further capture. Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, how to dilute us, how to
Yes.
keep us, you know,
Yes.
mentally enslaved, having to renew the brainwashing on an annual basis, what colors should mix with what colors so that they keep whitening us. Oh my gosh. You know,
Yes.
when you've got that higher level connection and you're just in tuned, you know, on a different frequency, to the point where you overstand these people, you know, you just on it. I thought I was on it, but you are on it and ahead of it. Dr.
I ain't
Rev.
about me playing. I ain't about me playing, as the ignorant man once said. That was highly intelligent. Yeah, you know, I attribute this to Ashe to Dr. Nana Francis Cress Welsing,
Mm,
that once you understand that this is their agenda 24/7,
mm,
the smiles, the help, the handshakes, the hugs, the love, quote unquote, that they try to give to Black people, Dr. Welsing has taught us they are constantly thinking about our demise and how they can succeed. And
wow.
anything that threatens them succeeding or threatens their extinction, they are in constant battle and fear with and against. As a result of that, and Dr. Clyde Winter says this all the time on my platform, that they're always trying to think of ways. Once they know that you are aware, they are
Mm-hmm,
trying to figure out how to get rid of you and trying to capture, corral, and control you,
mm-hmm,
because their fear is a black planet. Their fear is genetic annihilation. Now, many of them, because of their hubris, and hubris is a term for, you know, you're so arrogant that you don't know you're ignorant, and you're so ignorant that you don't know you're arrogant. And so it causes you to have a grandiosity and overconfidence that actually works to extinct you and create your own autogenocide. And that's
mm-hmm,
what's happening with second frequency right now. You know,
mm-hmm.
like the guy who invented the submarine with with video controls. What the are you talking about? And then went down and took all the billionaires and it imploded. But that's hubris, you see. They're
Mm-hmm.
so arrogant that they
Yeah.
don't know they're ignorant, because they don't know we know. They don't know that we know. And they said they couldn't possibly know. Remember what they did with the Dogon, my beloved? They said, yeah, okay, well, the Dogon, you know, saw Sirius B. They saw this constellation, but yeah, they really weren't supposed to be able to do that. That's how they think. Oh, they ain't supposed. They might, but they still don't know how to figure out how to do this, that. No, no, no. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And so it's my job to do the most amount of good, the least amount of harm, and to be a conduit between the as above and the so below, and to be able to decipher these messages and this coding, because they're
Mm-hmm.
making AI to be a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing for us if we know how to pre-program it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a
Mm-hmm.
bad thing to them because they know that the original ancestry of a people is us. And so that's why they keep trying to smudge the history, whitewash the history, and place themselves artificially in our first history and our first frequency, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yes, it does. Makes absolute sense. You know, we're always talking here about the whitewashed history and
Yes.
their, you know,
Which is
version.
why we need your book. the remarkable accomplishments of ancient African civilization. No, I'm being very serious.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to go and download this book right now, because that
Mhm.
is what overrides your knowledge of what happened to the first people and what we contributed and what we did and what we manifested and what we built. It overwrites what second frequency has told you, that you ain't no good, you don't matter, you've never done anything. Remember the three H's that Dr. Marie Charles talked about and taught us: Hegel, Heidegger, and
One of them,
Heidegger.
Hume or
Huh?
Huxley. You said
No,
there's,
Hegel, Heidegger, and Husserl.
oh, okay.
Uh, and we should make it four, because Homer was part of that too, but Homer was black.
Ah,
But nonetheless, these three H's were the ones that said that we don't have a culture. Black people don't have a culture. They don't
yeah.
matter. They're nothing. That informed the medical community,
Mhm,
the APA, the psychological community.
mhm,
Every industry believes that
mhm,
Black people are nothing and
mhm,
don't matter.
mhm,
Okay. And we must linguistically, axiologically overwrite that. And
mhm,
that's what I'm trying to do with technology, is that I see the hidden code. I'm
yeah.
able, Amma has been able to give Black people the ability to read the hidden code and the hidden agenda.
You see, so what we've been hearing, family, wow, wow, wow. AI has the potential to take over. Now we have to learn and understand AI, because whoever is controlling AI and in control of AI ultimately has control, you know? So they're really worried about AI taking over and going rogue and independent. But what if, we learn how to control AI? Give us your thoughts on that, please, Dr. Ray.
Absolutely. Well, it's actually happening, because, you know, the little bit that I showed you, what I showed Dr. Winters, what I have learned, that we ain't supposed to know that. Y'all are not supposed to know what you know right now, Sister Shanice. That
Mm-hmm,
is typical.
mm-hmm,
Because here's the thing, it's knowing. So, what I'm going to be teaching on the 4th, this Saturday, is what we call a quest ion. Because a question is just an ion that goes out into the Akashic records, and it goes in to look for its like, which is the answer. So a quest ion looks for its answer in the ethers, in the cosmos, in the Akashic records. Artificial intelligence, their terminology for this process is called prompting. And so prompt engineering is why people who master prompt engineering can come out with actually hardly no college education and make $375,000 a year, because prompt engineering is the new business for artificial intelligence. So prompting is knowing how to ask AI the
mm-hmm,
proper question.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Now, here's the rub, my beloved. If you do not know how to ask the correct question, you stay within the confines of the question. The answer keeps you asking more questions. Watch what I'm saying to you. So,
mm-hmm,
we have been captured, corralled, and controlled to be placed into a zip code. Most of us, we grow up living in a particular zip code, and all the information, all the language, all the sight sounds, all the nouns, persons, people, and things, everything is within that zip code. But many of us are even smaller than our zip code, because we live on a postage stamp, right? So how big is our knowledge base? We think we know, we don't know, because we don't know the questions to ask to get ourselves up and out of the situation that we're in. So what happens when an animal hits his head against the glass begging for food, and it no longer can get the food. It eventually stops hitting its head to the point where either one, it will hit his head where its brains will explode, or it will become passive and stop trying to ask the right question. At that moment, they give it a little bit of cheese and they'll put another mouse in there. And then those two mouses will fight over that cheese, not knowing outside of that zip code, there's plenty of cheese. There's no lack of limitation. So we have to understand that what I'm trying to teach my community how to do is how to think like Amma intelligence to program artificial intelligence. How to think, not how to survive, but how to thrive. We're asking the wrong questions. We're asking questions like, oh, well, if I have a chicken and I have pepper and salt and I have some Lowry seasoned salt and I have some hog maw, what kind of recipe can I put together for that's staying within the damn zip code? In fact, it's staying within the postage stamp. Oh, Chat GPT, I am looking for the love of my life and I want him or her to have these characteristics. You dumbass, it ain't gonna give you that. It's gonna keep you in the same zip code and the same postage stamp that you live on. And so as a result, we never learn how to thrive. We only learn how to survive. So getting our hair done, getting a flat screen, buying a nice car, that is our what we have been conditioned to believe is living the wishful dream already fulfilled and living in the kingdom. As Dr. Clyde would say, dummy, that's not what it is about. I want to own my thoughts and thinking. I want to be able to outthink my oppressor. I want to be able to play chess while they and the rest of the world are playing checkers.
Wow. But as you was talking there about us asking the right questions so that we can thrive and not just survive, that's what it's going to be about, isn't it? Those who ask the right questions will get the answers that they need that will help them to thrive. And I thought, what sort of question would I want to ask? I might want to ask.
I'm writing a book is on all of the different levels of prompting that allow us. You know, I, it's so funny because I work with some of the smartest people on earth. I mean, really, these cats and kittens are badass, right? You know, Dr. Elaine Ferguson in healthcare, Dr. Clyde Winters in anthropology, and Brother Dr. Davis in technology. These are some badass people, but they don't even know that some of the questions that they're asking keeps them in the confines of the consciousness of what they are. I wrote a book back in 2002 called Shock Philosophy. And a little bit of trivia, it was a book that Marianne Williamson, who was a presidential candidate, endorsed. And she says, Philippe Matthews is a star, and everybody needs to get this book. And it was 8 principles of manifestation. And one of the principles in there was consciousness is energy and capacity. And what I tried to explain to the community that I was speaking to at that time, as I'm speaking to them now, is that you have to look at our consciousness as energy, but how much capacity does energy have? If the law of thermodynamics teaches us that energy cannot be destroyed, then we have infinite energy that cannot be destroyed. So if that is the case, then we should be able to technically be able to figure out how to override the system that is locking us up and looping us up, that we keep running on the treadmill at the carrot in this divide and conquer strategy. So capacity must be looked at as, remember when computing first came out and we had what was called Word Perfect. This was a word software, a word processing software where you had to know Shift F3 and Shift F4 and Control F6 and you just get so damn mad, you just say F you. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
remember, and then Windows came out where it was just an icon where you just hit save as opposed to, shift F4 to the power of all these
Yeah, yeah.
FUs, and that changed the game, right?
Yeah,
But then
yeah,
it was,
yeah.
what was it, Windows 2.1 or something like that?
Mm,
Then we
all through the
had
numbers.
Windows 2.5 and Windows, but each one had a different capacity.
Yeah.
Each iteration had a different capacity. And remember when we went from the big 5-inch floppy disks
Yeah.
to the 3.5 hard floppy disk, and
Mm-hmm.
then we went from there to CDs, and then we went from CDs to digital. So look at the capacity, how much data it was able to be stored, because some of these programs you had to get 5, 10, 6 different big floppy disks to
Mm.
store all that information. You had to put one in, wait for it to do its thing. This was called DOS, disk operating system back in the day. Put that in there, wait for that to load up. Do 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 la da da. And boom, they put that out. They put the next disk in. La 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 dee dee, and right,
Yeah.
because the
Mm.
capacity was limited by what could be encoded onto that floppy drive. This is consciousness now I'm speaking of, metaphorically, but using the analogy of computing science to illustrate to the community what we need to do. So now I remember going to the store, computer store, and they're saying, well, what is it that you want to do? Well, I want to write a lot of articles and whatever. Oh, well, this computer here has 2 gigs. Oh, sugar now. Wait a minute. 2 gigs, my dude? Oh, I got to have me some 2 gig hard drive computer, because I'm state of the art. Everybody else has got the floppy disk thing, whatever. I got a 2 gig hard drive. Try looking at a 2 gig hard drive now. Your stuff ain't working. Ain't nothing
Not
working,
moving.
because we
For
went from
real.
2 gigs to 6 to 10 to terabytes to now megabytes and it's capacity. How much information can you store on a
Mhm.
floppy disk consciousness?
That's a big question for all of us. Let's go over to the chat, shall we, Dr. Rev, and see what some of the comments are in there. Welcome, Norman. Norman's just posted and says AI was experimented with at UC Berkeley as way back as in the 1950s. 1950s and 60s, or around there. He said, I used floppy disk in elementary programming class, a pilot class to introduce programming to minority students. Okay, wow. So,
And
yeah,
he's right, because it was a black man that actually invented AI technology and
yeah,
invented the internet.
yes, indeed. Let's
Okay,
take a
so
few
let's
more
keep it
points.
real. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that, Norman.
Good to have you in the house. He said African technology and strategy 100%. Rise up, Dr. Echiaba Adesebo's in the house. He is the founder of Black History Month UK. He's the one who brought Black History Month into existence here in the UK about 35
Wow.
years
I
ago.
want I want to talk to
Honor.
him.
Yeah. Oh, you've got to hear
I
his
want you on
story.
my platform too. I love
Yeah,
it. Thank you, my
there you go.
beloved.
There's a booking for you there, Elder
Yes, indeed.
Echapa, our esteemed elder. He says the
Oh, that's
principle
wonderful.
of instructability of energy is expressed in Akan as Nyami Nwu na Mawe. Mawe. God does not die for me to die. Ooh. So in
Yes.
the
Yes.
Akan culture, he says that indestructible energy that you referred to is Nyami. My apology for messing this all up. Nyami Nyanwu Mawu. Mawu. Oh, wow.
Absolutely. And the
So
only thing I
we
would say to change your language from God to Amma, because the more
Amma.
you use the
Amma.
language of the Amu second frequency, you keep it alive. And one of
Yes.
the African traditions is if you want to decease something, if you want to something to descend, you don't speak its name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't
Speak
speak the
it out
word of
of
God. I speak the
existence.
word of Amma. Speak it out of.
Wow.
Don't speak it. Not speak it out of existence.
Right.
Is what I have learned how to do. It's not easy because I still use the term God and goddess, but now I'm trying to usurp that, replace that, collapse that time with with Amma and Amanets. You know, so Amma is the male energy, and Amanet is the female energy, same as Netter and Netteru versus Netteret.
Mm. A couple of points here in the chat that makes me realize that our family are saying that AI is bringing excellent opportunities to us. Welcome to Dia, who's saying excellent, like usual. African people are technical, says Kwame Oboje. To Dia saying yes, African genius. So very confident that we as Africans will be able to get hold of AI and run with it. Let's see what Kikoba says. Says, thank you both. Question. He's got a question for us. If AI is a tool that is used to produce effects in the physical world outwardly, is AI also being used to produce effects in our non-physical subconscious spirit world?
Great
Whoa.
question. And the answer is yes, but it can't interrupt the first frequency. It can only create a virtual reality like the
Mm.
Matrix or a holodeck from Star Trek. So it will look real. It will feel real because the brain, there are five operators in the brain. And I think one is called, it's the existential operator. There's an existential operator, binary operator. I think there's a language operator. I can't remember all of them. I have that written down. But one of the operators, the binary operator, it gives us our sense of up and down, left and right. It gives us our sense of duality, and it makes unreal appear real. So, in answer to his question, sure, when you're in a virtual world, it looks real. Guess what? We're in a virtual world right now. What we're
Mm-hmm.
experiencing is not real. This is
Mm-hmm.
why even biblically it says, "Judge ye not by what appearance." And so
Mm-hmm.
this is why I live in the quantum realm or the metaphysical or African sacred science realm, and I don't get caught up in the physical because I can change my physical reality at any time. Even though in their realm physically I'm being interrupted, but I know how to interrupt the signal of the interruption. So
Mm-hmm.
think about this, my beloved. Let me try to break it down a little bit more like a fraction for you.
Mm-hmm.
The brain does not know the difference between success and failure. To the brain, it's always success. So if you have been taught how to fail in life, that your brain looks at that as a success. So now when something comes along to try to stop you from failing, you sabotage it. You call it wrong. You fear it
Mm-hmm.
because you have been proselytized and socially engineered in their matrix, in their holodeck, second frequency, to fear. We are afraid of the dark. We are the dark. We are dark matter, dark energy. But we turn the lights out, we're like, ooh, I'm scared. What's scary about being home?
Mm-hmm.
We should be afraid of the damn light when the light comes on and we see all this debauchery and all this, pardon my
Yeah.
French, fuckery that's in the world.
Yeah.
But they have flipped the script on us, turned the earth literally upside down, and created maps that disorient us, signal
Mm-hmm.
interrupt us. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to
Mm-hmm.
rewrite and recode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're thinking, how we're speaking, as the
Yeah.
brother spoke earlier about us linguistically. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yes, we're in this matrix, but we're not of it.
Mm-hmm. 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 I mean that is key. Changing how we think. and how we talk, and then that will change the questions that we ask. And
Absolutely. If you don't know the questions to ask, you're just not gonna get it. You're not gonna
yeah.
survive, fam. Sorry,
Mm-hmm,
you're not gonna
mm-hmm.
survive.
Now, obviously, at on another level, in terms of jobs, etc., we've
Sure.
got a situation where AI, can be used and is being used to build cars. Back in the days, they would have
Yep.
men in the factories building cars. Now the robots are in the factories building cars, and we've got electric cars now that quite soon can drive on their own. So that will put the Ubers and the like and the taxis out of business potentially. You go to the supermarket these days, you don't need, the checkouts. You can check yourself out, putting more people out of jobs. So, with the future of AI and the potential that comes with it in terms of, taking over the roles of humans, what new role do you see for humans? What do you think our direction of travel ought to be? Obviously, we need to embrace the opportunities. So, yeah, what are the opportunities that AI brings?
Wow, wow, wow. As Sister Shanice, as Dr. Shanice always says, wow, wow, wow. That's an incredible question. And I'm actually writing the book as I speak, not literally as I speak, because if I was, I wouldn't be here. I'd be writing. But I'm really writing the damn book on the AI jobs in the future for Black people.
Yes.
And you're right. So you have to understand something, and this might be a hard rub for some people that's listening and watching right now. Poor people were made.
Mm.
Financial struggle was made. It's not a natural occurrence in nature. We're
Mm-hmm.
socially engineered to be poor and have low wage jobs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yes, this great reset, this new planned demic will
Mm-hmm.
be will have an economic agenda that would be catastrophic to those who bag groceries, those who deliver, who are in trucking and delivery systems, and even I was just doing a Black Excellence interview with Dr. Mildred Henry, who um, had a elementary school just named after her in San Bernardino, and she's
Mm-hmm.
90 years old,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
she's a multimillionaire in education,
Oh,
in Black education, and she said, "My schools, I made sure that I wanted a Black principal." And I'm
wow.
working with her in AI, and she says, I too was afraid of this situation, but I now realize that even teachers, professors, because you can train AI to have a persona of a professor from Harvard or a professor from Stanford
Mm-hmm.
or a legal scholar. And
Mm-hmm.
so those jobs are potentially threatened. So here's what you do. And here's what the industry is telling us, telling me, excuse me, I need some more water. Um, I sweat. I use a lot of heat. There's a lot of heat up in here, family, when I
Okay, yeah,
come on here.
give you a moment to
Um,
get some water if you need to. That's
yeah, but
okay.
let me answer this question and then I get some water, come back and finish answering more questions. So,
Okay.
um, as a result, the people who learn how to prompt
Mm-hmm.
engineering, people who learn how to program AI to ask the right questions will be the new industry leaders. Think about, so even teachers who know how to teach using AI. Think about what happened when the pandemic hit and teachers no longer could teach in the classroom. They had to teach virtually. That was
Mm-hmm.
a skill set that was forced upon them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could not use Zoom or whatever the virtual video conferencing technology was, they were out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same thing with AI. So you master the and let me give you a little trick, a little something to do. that I learned from Dr. Jimmy J. Davis. He said this to me. He says, Philippe, it wasn't that the gold rush back in the day made people rich. It was the people supplying the tools for the gold rush that became rich. So learn how to control what controls. Become the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing. So I tell my money group, my money people, invest in the technology that makes AI, because those are the trillion-dollar companies to invest in. Now, if we had have applied that, there's a true story about, I interviewed Dr. Matthew Knowles, who is the father of Beyonce and Solange Knowles. And he told a story when I was talking to him about his first book, The DNA of Achievers. He said that his friend came to him and said, you need to invest in this new company called Apple. And at the time, Steve Jobs had been ousted from his own company. And he said, man, that's some BS. I don't nobody want to invest in no damn company where the damn CEO just got kicked out. They didn't understand that CEOs are just figureheads. It's the actual technology that changes the world. And then, of course, Steve Jobs came back, and our world has never been the same since then. Of course, he didn't invest, and he lost what? Millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. So all those people that did one share, they could retire for the rest of their life. So let me ask you this. Do you not think AI can teach you how to invest? Do you think AI could not teach you how to learn any language? There's 2,000 languages in Africa on the continent alone. You don't think it knows? Because I can teach you that if you program it to take text and put it in Kiswahili or Yoruba, it'll do it, and it will be accurate, right? So understand, we're not asking the right questions because we're not able to think outside of the confines of our prison, because our prison looks like we're free, but we're not. And that's what I'm trying to do. Let me run and get a glass of water. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Okay. Well, family, we're going to have to start thinking outside of the box. Let's go over to the chat and see some more of the questions that we've got in here. Norman says, AI can be used in our education among our Black technologists to effect information dissemination. Yes, I like that. And Kwame Oboje added to that and said, and defined the term of as Pan-Africanist technologists. Oh, I like that. Pan-Africanist technologists. I wonder if AI would, recognize that term, and if they could create a whole kind of school of thought around that. Sounds great. K-Safa says, I'm using AI to help relate my Amazon ebook, email, newsletter, and articles for my website, teaching people how to draw. Fantastic. Okay, using AI, that's great. To help relate Amazon. Use it to create your ebook, your newsletters, etc., etc. Okay, let's see what else we've got in the chat here. Thank you so much, everyone who is posting in the chat. Great to get your comments. Amandine is saying attitude is everything. Yes, indeed. Have that confidence about using AI. I've got a question here about the course on Saturday. Let me just post that again. And just to remind you that it is 5 p.m. UK time. Yes, Dr. Rev did ask what time is it PST. So it's
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Yeah, PT time.
I'm black. I'm black.
Welcome, black. And it's actually 1 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so we've got the times now for that session. So we look forward to you all joining us there. Let's learn together. Let's be the change that we want to see and use AI to help bring about that change as well, because AI can do the work for us now, can't it?
Absolutely.
Amazing
So
stuff.
there's a concept known as digital dependency. And what will happen is you know how, like, right now, one of the industries is outsourcing and telemarketing. You know how people sit and onboarding, how people sit in a booth and phone call comes in. How do I do this? How do I do that?
Yes.
Those are the new AI jobs. Because the people who know how to prompt and know how to ask the questions and get the information on complex issues, those are the people that's going to be the millionaires and gazillionaires of the future. And because this AI collapses time, so you ain't got to be in an industry for 20, 30 years and retire rich. You will be rich probably within months, or at a minimum of 6 months to a year. So those are the industries and the way that we need to start thinking as it relates to AI. And I want everybody blackity black, to get on board with this in your own country, in your own neighborhood, in your own zip code, in your own state and country, and dominate.
Yeah. You haven't come back on. Your screen is still blank.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I know it. I know it takes a moment or two, but it's taking a bit longer this time round. We're still not seeing you.
Oh no! Well, it ain't much to look at, but my voice is really good.
Yeah, you're sounding good. Well, we are 5 minutes away from the top of the hour, and this has just been such an incredibly informative presentation from you. Thank you so much for sharing all of this deep knowledge that you have of AI. This is putting us well ahead of the game. You are putting us well ahead of the game, Dr. Rev. You really are. Hey, Dr. Clive Winters is in the house.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he says, great show. We need this knowledge. Yes, indeed, we do. It potentially is a game changer. Just imagine this technology has all the information that there is out there, all the information written and documented in books that's out there. It has all of that knowledge. So you could ask it how to make certain things. How do I create wind turbines? How do I create solar panels? How do I create, what are all the ingredients that I'll need to do A, B, C, or D, and it can tell you anything and everything,
And for children in homeschooling, think about this. There is no mathematical question it cannot answer. Just be with that for a moment. Just pause for the cause. There is I am teaching myself quantum physics. There is no mathematical question it cannot answer. There's no linguistical or English question it cannot answer. So if you're homeschooling your children, get that book, AI Jedi, the Black AI Jedi for homeschooling, because that child will become so damn smart, and that child will probably end up making 6 figures while they're still at high school age.
Yes, that potential is there. Come on, family, get the children on board.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. Well, talking about,
but he also curriculum part, Black, what to put into Black studies in AI. So thank you, Dr. Winters, for that contribution. But man, if parents only knew, oh my, if I had this and you and I had this, we would be millionaires / billionaires today. And it would not have taken 20, 30 years trying to find the right just over broke or the right entrepreneurial pursuit to make our millions. We would have been set for life. And this is what I want, an unfair advantage. An unfair advantage. Malcolm X, by any means necessary. Community, come on.
Let's be that change. Well, we are 2 minutes away from the top of the hour. The time has just roller coasted by. And, we want to thank you so, so much. All being well, we'll all see you on Saturday for
Yes.
the course that you're telling us about. And it's going to be a hands-on practical course. So in advance, you need to prepare. You need to, if you're not already registered, if you haven't already got your free chat GTP account, set it up, create one and get ready to find out how you could be utilizing it to get, the opportunities that it brings. And remember, next strong, we have Dr. Clyde Winters. Yeah. And we have a number of shows that Dr. Clyde Winters has done on this platform. You can go to my YouTube library and you'll find some amazingly interesting shows there. And you can also go to Dr. Rev SHOCK's website, where he is honored to have Dr. Clyde Winters every week, every Thursday, delivering a presentation. I'm hooked. I hardly miss a Thursday. And I don't know either how Dr. Clyde does it, but every week he's coming with a new presentation about our history. Absolutely phenomenal. And so, Dr. Rev SHOCK, it's good to be able to see you for the last part of the show now. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I hope our people turn out on Saturday to do your course, because we really need to get ahead of the game. I know there's a small fee, but, we have to see as an investment.
Absolutely.
$27. We have to see as an investment in our future and in our children's future, because once you get that knowledge, it really is going to just catapult you into the next kind of dimension where AI is going. I've already had a bit of an experience with it. I had one session with Dr. Rev, and it just helped me to transform my writing. Oh my gosh, So now, when you read my stuff, this is an a phenomenologist, Afrocentric research writer
Yes.
who's talking to you. Hey,
Dr. Sister Shanice Lindsay, that's right.
I'm title doctor, and you know what, it means so much to me getting that title from someone like yourself. I hold it in very high esteem.
Please do.
Honorary doctor's title.
Your contribution is amazing to the community, my beloved.
I
see you. We see you.
Thank you.
Think about it. Dr. Clyde Winters and myself, we don't go on everybody's show and platform. We come on to yours.
I'm honored, deeply, deeply honored. So we'll see you on Saturday. Well, I'll see you tomorrow on your platform.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Dr. Winters.
Alongside Dr. Clyde Winters. Right. That is 9 p.m. GMT time. And what time is that Pacific time?
That is 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. GMT time. Well, it was 9 p.m. GMT time. I'm not sure. BST.
No, it might be 8. You fell back, now. Right? Yeah. So it's 8
It's probably going to be 8 o'clock. Thank you. I would have been missing an hour. Woo, so to everyone in the chat, everyone in the audience that's joined us this evening, thank you so, so much. It's been an honor having you in the house. Thank you for all your questions, your comments, and your thoughts, and for sharing with each other. We don't take your interaction with us for granted. We know that we're privileged to have you in the house. So thank you so, so much. Dr. Rev, thank you so, so much again. More love, more strength to you and to all of the family. We love you all. Thank you. Sister Shanice, out of here for now. All being well. See you next strong. Bye for now.